A two-time world boxing champion and the only Lebanese fighter in Australian boxing history to win a world title, Billy built his name from the ground up, turning talent into legacy and setbacks into comebacks. After being told he had only 6 months to live, he faced cancer with the same mindset he brought to the ring: discipline, faith, and relentless will. In 2024, he made history again, returning to the ring on his own terms and earning the title of Comeback Fighter of the Year.
Thank you so much.
He's also an author of books that empower, educate, and remind us that real strength isn't in how hard you hit, but in how deeply you believe. Billy, welcome to the Untold Edit.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited.
Me
How
too.
are you feeling?
I feel good. I'm very, very excited, and we got so much to tell, so many stories to tell you. So let's unfold and unpack them right now.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
You were called Billy the Kid.
Yes.
But who was that kid, really? Can you take us back to that early age?
Yes. I mean, look, as a young boy, I grew up in a house with I had 4 older brothers. I had a sister who was younger than me by 3 years and a brother that was younger than me by about 6 or 7 years. So we grew up in a household that was pretty full. It was a lot of fun. My brothers, they all excelled in sport early. My brothers all excelled, but not in boxing. Everyone excelled in like rugby league, soccer, cricket, things like that. Then I come along and flip the script, and I thought I was the Rocky of the family. You know, I loved combat. I loved to fight. I was very energetic and always loved fighting and wrestling and things like that. And so when boxing presented, I took it with both arms open. I took grasp of it and I never let go. I just fell in love with the sport of boxing, and the sport of boxing gave me so much as a kid, even, you know, just representing Australia all over the world, traveling at such a young age, you know, not being at school all the time because I was always traveling, representing Australia. It was such a fun thing.
I think that's like every kid's dream, not to be in school.
I mean, you know what the thing was? My father was, he had an interesting way of raising us. It was like he found what we loved most, and then if it was like
invested in you.
If you didn't excel or if you didn't do well at school, my dad would make you pay by not allowing you to do what you love. So if I didn't do well at school, my father would say, okay, you're not doing boxing for a week, or you're not going, you know, you're not going to do this, or you're not going to, and so he would take all the things that I loved away from me. So that what I did was I went from the back of the class to the front of the class. I went from barely passing to passing really well, because all I wanted to do was box. Like my sole focus was finish training, get on a bus. Finish school, get on a bus, go home, drop my bags, get on a bus again, go straight to the gym. Like I just loved training so much. That was my life. And so
for somebody that is in such a young age, where I think in that particular age, like the kids would be wanting to go out, have fun with their friends, you know, their main focus wouldn't be excelling in sports or doing that kind of hobby. It's more like outing, partying. You did not pass through that, did you?
I had a hunger for winning. I wanted to win.
Since what age?
I started boxing at the age of 12, and I started competing at the age of like 13. So all I wanted to do was win.
Where did you get this maturity from?
I think it came from boxing. Because when I was younger, they used to say I was a Woodish, like very energetic.
Woodish.
Yeah, I was a Woodish, very energetic, like, you know, jumping out of trees, doing dumb things. But boxing really like honed that in, because the thing was, well, if I was injured, then I couldn't box. Mm-hmm. If I hurt myself, then I couldn't box. And so the thing was, as I got better and better with boxing, my cousins were all getting older and everyone was going out going to parties, I never did any of that because I was so focused on winning the next fight. And it was not like I was fighting once or twice a year. I was fighting like 20 times a year. So sometimes I'd be fighting like 2 times or 3 times a month. And so I had to stay focused and I had to stay hungry because if it wasn't me, somebody else was doing it. So I wanted to be the best at what I was doing. And so I'm not sure if a 12-year-old, like I go to schools now and I talk to a lot of kids and stuff like that. And I ask them, okay, how old are you guys? So I'm 12, I'm 13. And I think to myself, wow, I was their age when I was so disciplined and dedicated and so focused on the task at hand. And I often tell kids, I'm like, listen, you got to have a clear vision. Like waking up and saying that you want to be a doctor, sleeping at night saying you want to be a lawyer, waking up the next morning saying you want to be an actor, that's not a consistent vision. That's just a thought. And we all have thoughts. But for me, it was like my vision was consistently, I want to be a champion. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. And nothing's going to stop me except for Allah. That was I knew that the only one who was in control was God. But I had to do everything in my power to make sure that I was going to be excelling at what I chose to do.
It reminds me of the saying that the greatest Muhammad Ali said, if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it.
That's right.
You had this mindset since day one.
And that was actually a quote that I used in my speech when I received Comeback of the Year. That award, I actually said that exact quote that you just said then because that was the quote that allowed me to come through my sickness as well.
It lived in you.
It's been in me since I was a kid. I knew that I was destined for something special from when I was young. I always knew something big was going to happen. I wish it could have been bigger. I wish it could have been more than it was, but that's just how we are as humans. We always want more. But once you taste boxing success, once you taste it, you just want more of it. And I loved it. I wish I could turn the clock back by 10 years and go back to where I was.
What you have achieved is amazing. And I think you should be very proud because
I am very proud.
Everyone is very proud of you.
I am very proud. I'm proud that, God has given me this platform to be able to inspire the future.
You have a clothing label.
Yes.
That has your name on it and says Believe.
That's correct.
But part of it is your name. So it's Billy and then VE, which stands for Believe.
That's right.
What does belief mean to you when your back is against the wall, when no one sees what you see?
Believing is believing in yourself when nobody else does. That's what believing is. Because if you believe in me and your whole family believes in me and all my family believes in me, but I don't believe in myself, I'll never succeed. The belief starts with you. That's why I say Billy at the start of the brand is Billy. And then the VE on the end is the believe. Billy had to believe in himself first. If I didn't believe in me, then I couldn't possibly win world titles. I couldn't possibly succeed. I couldn't possibly beat cancer. I couldn't possibly be a good dad or a good husband. Or I had to believe in me before anybody else would. And that was my whole mindset from such a young age. I would tell anyone and everyone that I was going to be champion. And a lot of people used to think that I was brash and cocky, but I used to think that if I didn't believe in myself, then who was going to believe in me? I had to make you a believer. And that's what I did. I made people believers.
That's incredible. And it takes a lot of confidence in yourself to believe in yourself.
I mean, it does, but my message to young kids is that God gave you life. God breathed a soul into you. So your parents have been gifted you from God. You're a gift from God, and God is the greatest. If God is the greatest, do you not believe that He's breathed greatness into each and every single one of us? Each and every single one of us out there has greatness within us. It's just we're willing to tap into that greatness to find it. Each and every single one of us has something that's great about us. We just have to tap into it, to find it and to persevere for it and to work for it. And nothing good in your life comes easy. Everything comes with hard work and perseverance. And I believe everybody out there can be as great as they want to be.
I agree.
We choose to be great or we choose to be lazy. It's one or the other.
I agree. You are from Tripoli, Lebanon, Trablus.
Yes,
And you are a 2 times world boxing champion.
that's correct.
And you are also the only Lebanese fighter in Australian history to win that world title.
That's correct.
What does that victory mean to you? That's not just a title, that's representation. But what does that victory mean to you, not just for you, but for the people back home?
Well, for me, it's, as I told you before, for me, it's like when I became world champion, I didn't just win it for me. It was for everybody.
Especially for the people back home in Lebanon?
For everybody. I tell you something. I actually had an artist, a music artist. He wrote a song called "Fight for You," and the song is about me fighting for you, fighting for the people, fighting for the oppressed, fighting for those who don't have the life that they want. I'm that person who, you know, I wanted to represent on a level where it's like, this is not just for me. This is for everybody. And I never, when I was world champion, I never walked around and made it out like it was just me. No, I like, there was people in my team. Okay. There was other fighters in my team, who were Lebanese, were Muslim, who didn't become world champions. And when I won my world title, I said, this one just not just for me. This is for them as well. And that's for all of us. You know, and I remember growing up as a young kid, my cousin Ahmed, he's my first cousin. We're best friends. We're tied at the hip. He was boxing too. When I won the world championship, on the night that I won the world championship, he and I slept in the same bed with the belt in between us. And I said to him, this is not just for me, it's for you too. And that's how it was my whole life has always been about, this is not just for me. It's for everybody. You know what I mean? I like to share what I achieved is not just for me to say, oh yeah, look what I got.
Back.
Yeah, listen, Allah gave me the platform to inspire through that. So Allah says, here, listen, I'm going to give you this, but now I'm going to test you to see what you do with it. And so I took it and said, you know what? Okay, Allah gave me this. So now I'm going to use this to inspire people, to let them know that I was just like you. They told me I'd be nothing. They told me I'd be nobody, but I am somebody today. Through belief and through hard work and through Allah's permission, I am what I am today. And you can be just that too.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Boxing is not just hard physically, but the industry itself can be tough. And not everyone around you will be completely genuine. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt betrayed?
Many times, but that's the boxing industry. See, the boxing industry is full of hooligans and thugs and criminals. That's what the boxing game generates. That's where like it originates from gangsters. So, you know, it's like it just comes with the sport, you know what I mean? And the truth is that if you try to have it any other way, it won't work. It just works the way that it works. It's like it runs finally as it is. So
Did you have any enemies?
I don't have enemies.
Did you have? Like,
I had during the course of my career, I've had several people that I've fallen out with, people who I didn't see eye to eye with, but I made choices to forgive them because I have this thing, right? It's like if you're constantly thinking about somebody and they're not thinking about you, they're living in your mind rent free. You're the one who's going to be dealing with the pain of that. So, you know, when you decide to forgive people and say you're setting yourself free. So I choose to just move freely throughout my life.
Who's that one person who you allowed to live rent free in your mind?
Many people. It wasn't
biggest.
Just, I would definitely say that you know, there was promoters that lived in my mind rent free. There was fighters that lived in my mind rent free. You know, like when it came to my personal life, which is separate from my boxing life, everything was fine, alhamdulillah. You know, I had a loving family, loving siblings, you know, and then I had now I got my loving wife and my son. But the boxing industry, you know, I sent a lot of despicable people my way. And I would definitely say that one of them was definitely 50 Cent. You know, 50 Cent, the rapper, was definitely one of them. And
What happened?
just, you know, empty promises. It was all empty promises. You know what I mean? I can't explain to you how the beginning of it was like a dream come true. It was like a surreal dream. It was like
He sold you a dream and vanished.
well, I was the dream. I was the champ. I was world champion. You know what I mean? And I was had defended my title on several occasions, and you know. And I was invited to America by him, you know, flown in business class.
So did you have to sign a contract with him?
Yeah.
Like, was it something that serious that you went
No,
through with
it was an amazing deal, but I was sold the pipe dream. And when I call it a, you know, when people that take drugs call that a pipe, like, you know, when you smoke the pipe, you call it a pipe dream, you know what I mean? So I just feel like we touched down in Las Vegas. It was like, it felt like this was just such a surreal dream. It was like you're hanging out with 50 Cent, like, you know what I mean? You're in cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys. You know, you're going to high-end restaurants. You're hanging out with the man. Like 50 Cent was the man, you know? And I remember, you know, walking through one of the casinos with him, and somebody goes, there goes 50 Cent and Drake. And he's like, that's not Drake, that's Billy the Kid. He's the IBF champion of the world. And like, I was like, man, this guy,
Wow.
you know, like it was actually really cool. And then I remember coming home, and you know, when you're a kid, right? I was 26, 27 years of age. And you got 50 Cent on your, you know, on your
Contacts.
in your contacts. And you could just ring him at any time and he picks up the phone. And I would ring him. I rang him a few times. I wouldn't say I rang him a lot, but I rang him a few times because I know he's busy. But I rang him a few times and he picked up right away. And I was like, 50, look, man, I'm so sorry, but I'm with one of my cousins right now. Can you get on the phone for a second? Like, yeah, put me on the phone.
that proud moment?
Like that was, you know,
You had to show off.
come on, man, being a kid growing up in Engadine, in the Southern Shire of Engadine, you know, a kid from you know, parents who immigrated to Australia, you know what I mean? Like, wasn't supposed to be there. All of a sudden I'm there. And like, I'm not just there, I'm there, you know what I mean? I'm like the cream of Australian boxing, you know, like no one was doing it bigger than me at that time. And so, you know, I was like, such a surreal feeling. And then when 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather fell out, the dream just came crashing down. And it was like, I was given choices. Either you go left or you go right. And then 50 Cent was playing with my head, and Floyd Mayweather was playing with my head, and 50 Cent was playing with my head. And I was stuck in the middle. And then I have my lawyer, Adam Huda, telling me, you know, what to do. And then my brother Emad telling me what to do. And yeah, I was just getting pulled from every angle. And then I guess.
How did you end it?
It just ended itself. It ended itself, you know what I mean? It was like, just, I'll tell you now, when I was champion of the world, I felt like life couldn't be any better. I was just, not because I was making amazing money or anything like that. I wasn't. I was making good money, but I wasn't making like mind-blowing money. But I was happy because I was able to get access to things. And then when I lost my championship, you know, it was like, that was through there. Like, I lost because I allowed them to play with my mind and live in my mind rent free. And when I turned up to the fight, just things weren't right. You know what I mean? I just wasn't right in the right frame of mind. And when I lost my title, it was, I would say I became a bit of a negative person. I don't think people wanted to be around me. And I remember like, you want to be happy, but you're not happy. I'm not happy. You know, I was at the time a bit of an ambassador for a football team called the Dragons, St. George Dragons. And like, they used to bring me so much happiness, but then I didn't want to be around them anymore. And cause I felt like I didn't deserve to be there anymore cause I'm not the champ. But then as I got older, I realized that the saying, once a champ, always a champ is forever. And, you know, it doesn't take a belt to be a champion, you know. I mean, like, for me, the journey, like, I was given a world championship by the WBC for beating cancer. You know, I was awarded a Champion of Hope title, you know, a title that's going to remain with me for the remainder of my life. And so, you know, it doesn't take a belt to be a champ.
Of course.
But when you're a kid and you're on that high and you're champion of the world and you feel like you know, it was taken from you in a way where it wasn't justified, it's a bit sad. But I know that everything only happens by God's permission. So I accept. It is what it is, right?
It is what it is. We see 70% of the fighters end up broke within the first couple of years of them retiring, which is considered a bit shocking because of the amount of money they get paid during their prime. But why do you think they keep on falling into that loop? Is it lack of financial intelligence? Is it lifestyle inflation? Is it lack of discipline?
Well, I will tell you that it's not just boxing. It's sports all over the world, all around the world. It's sports across the board. I'm talking soccer, football, rugby league. I'm talking boxing. I'm talking tennis players. A lot of them end up broke. It's because when you earn a certain amount of money, you start living a certain type of way.
Lifestyle inflation.
The lifestyle, it goes to another level. And then the thing is, you want to maintain that level. And then you've got friends and you got the people who are called the hanger-oners who are around and you
just feel like you want to support them.
You keep spending. Exactly. You keep spending in a way.
Show-offs.
Exactly. You keep spending in a way that you can't sustain. And so when you get to the point where you retire from boxing and then you know, because you're earning great money for a certain amount of time. Once you fall off that mountain, you're not earning that kind of money anymore. So you could be champion and you could be earning 500, 750, 1 million, 10 million. But then if you lose, you're not earning that kind of money anymore. You're back at the bottom of the barrel, nearly. You know, you sort of like got to work your way back into that again. And so a lot of fighters, the mistake they make, and a lot of athletes, the mistake they make is that once they make some serious money, instead of investing in property and putting their money away for a rainy day, they don't do that. They worry about getting jewelry. They worry about getting watches, about getting nice clothes. They want to fake it before they make it. They want to fake it like they made it, but they still haven't made it. And so, you know, a lot of fighters end up broke. And so now I'm actually in the process. I'm the chairman of the.
You lead the financial well-being of Boxers Committee, aren't you?
That's right.
The WBC.
I'm the chairman of the Champions Board, and I've been given a role which is to secure fighters' futures. And so for me now, basically what the WBC is going to do as of December this year, they're going to mandate that as of 2026 that every fighter needs to have a financial plan. And
it's about time.
And they're going to, my goal is to never see a fighter go broke. I don't want to see any fighter ever go broke because let me tell you, boxing is one of the hardest sports in the world. And the thing is that so many fighters, they end their boxing careers and their faculties are no longer intact. They can't talk anymore. They slur when they talk. They've been punched too many times to the brain. Wow. So they can't actually communicate what they want anymore. And like, what are they going to do? Go work? Go get a job? No one who was a world champion wants to go work in a car wash or wants to go and flip burgers. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to be the best in the world and then you're going to go flip burgers? They don't want to do that. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But
a great shift. That's like a big shift.
It's a big shift. When you're going from being here and then you got to go back to being living a regular lifestyle, it's very hard. And they don't do that. And then what a lot of fighters do is they keep going back to the well. They think, okay, one more fight, and that leads to a lot of brain damage in the end.
And then they're just burned
washed
out.
up. They're just washed up.
You've trained all your life to fight opponents that you could see.
Yeah.
You studied them, built strategy, knew where to strike. But then came an opponent you could not see.
Yeah.
But you still showed up. There is no game plan for cancer. When you were diagnosed, did you go into that round, that fight, with the same mindset you carried to the ring?
I would say I didn't go into that mindset right away. It wasn't right away because I originally found out that I was sick, and then they told me that I had colon cancer, and they removed the tumor. It was a 9 centimeter tumor. And once they removed the tumor, they told me that I was cancer free. They said that you might need to do a little bit of chemotherapy to clean around it. And I was absolutely against that. I wanted no part of the chemotherapy because in 2015, I was married to a girl by the name of Sarah who passed away due to chemotherapy. And I was totally against it. And I said that if I ever got cancer, I would never do chemotherapy. Never.
It became a fear.
Yeah, it became a fear. It was like, no, it's like, how does somebody go from being so healthy and look so amazing, and then in months they pass away? It didn't sit well with me. And so I said, I'm out. I'm never going to do chemo. And then all of a sudden, after they take the cancer out, and then I go home, and then a week later I was extremely sick again. And then everything turned when a doctor walked into the room. He was wearing a suit and he had a tie on and he had glasses and he looked very, very, very smart, and he had this bag with him, and he asked me if I was Billy, and I said yes. And he asked me if we could sit down, and we sat down, and he looked very concerned. And
you can tell from the way he was looking at you.
He did
that there was something wrong.
There was something wrong. But my mum had just got through telling me that I was okay, that there was nothing wrong with me, and that she felt like I was okay. And then he walks in and basically says that, look, I know that you have, some reasons in your mind and some things going on in your head that you don't want to take chemotherapy, but I just want to let you know that you're at a really bad state, and if you don't take chemotherapy, you'll be dead within 5 to 6 months. And like, to hear that was just like a major slap in the face. It was like somebody opened their hand and just went bang, and he slapped me so hard in the face. And so I just sat there quietly for a moment. I turned back and I looked at my mum. My mum was crying.
What was your first thought?
My son and my wife. That was the first thing that came into my mind was like, oh no, my son's going to grow up without a dad. I was like, man, my son's not going to have a dad.
Just gotta.
Yeah, and I was like, and then I said to him, how do I turn 6 months into 60 years? And he goes, why? And I was like,
why?
Yeah, and I was like, I got a son who's 2 years and 10 months old. I got to walk into school in a couple of years' time, and like, I can't die. Who's going to take my son to school? Who's going to look after my wife and my son? And he's like, you just found the greatest why factor. That's the greatest why factor. You just found a really good reason to fight. And he goes, I said, so what do I got to do? He goes, you got to start chemotherapy yesterday. And he goes, that's how serious it is. I said, I'm in. And he goes, just like that. And I was like, it's not about me anymore. This is about my son, my wife, my family, my friends, my fans. I can't be a quitter. I'm not a quitter. I was like, man, I'm not a quitter. All of a sudden now the boxing thing came into my mind. I was like, I'm not going to quit, because if I quit, then I give permission to my wife to quit, and who gives permission to my son to quit? And quitting is a chain reaction. When you quit, you give permission to other people to quit. And so I was like, I'm not going to quit. And I'll tell you that when I was in hospital, I've never told anybody this. You're the first person that's getting this.
Thank you for trusting me.
So I'll tell you, I've never told this to any other podcast or any other TV network or nothing, but I was in a room and I was in a really bad way, and I knew I was in a bad way, and I knew I was in for a fight. And my brother Ahmad was there, and my brother Jihad was there, and I remember vividly my brothers being there, and maybe my mum was there too. And then this doctor came in looking really, really concerned, like really concerned. And there was another doctor there, and she had like blonde hair. She was wearing glasses. She was an older lady, and she had just got through telling me, like, you know, that what I'm going to be going through and that. And then this guy walks in, and I think he must have been like her understudy, and he's playing with his collar like this, and he's like, I just want to ask you a few questions. I was like, yeah. And he's like, keeps playing with his collar, and I'm like, what do you need to ask me? He's like, I mean, he goes, are you like, are you prepared to, how do you feel about the possibility of maybe like, you know, not being around anymore? And like, are you prepared that, and he kept on talking like that and kept on playing,
stuttering and not able to put
and then I was like, listen, I need you to shut the F up and get whatever you've come in with and get the F out of this room. And then my brother Jihad, because he's like a politician and like very prim and proper, is like, no, Bilal. I was like, Joe, hold on 1 second.
The audacity.
I'm about to go into the fight of my life. And this guy's just about to tell me now that I'm not going to make it. But he has no idea that cancer picked the wrong opponent. I'm not going to lose to cancer. And if you think I am, you need to leave too, because I'm not going to die. I'm not leaving my son behind. And the doctor was like,
on edge.
Yeah, and I was like, get the F out right now, get out. And I got really mad.
Before I turned this room into a ring.
Yeah, he left like right away. The lady, the doctor that was with him, she was like, you better leave, you know? And then she's like, I'm really sorry about that. He's just very nervous. I said,
that's rude.
I was like, listen, don't ever let him do that to anybody else again, because he might do that to the wrong person. They'll die. Of course. I said, listen, I just want to let you know I'm not dying. I'm not going to die. I'm going to live. I got a reason to live, and I'm not going to die. And that was my mindset. It became a battle against this invisible opponent, and I wasn't going to let him have his way. That's the simple answer. It was just like, he can't win.
Rule number 1, you never give up.
Yeah.
Rule number 2, you listen to rule number 1, yeah. You never give up.
That's it. So I just was never going to give in. I just said, you know what? My son is not going to go to school and tell his friends that his dad gave up. If I did die, which because there was a chance that I could have, but I had got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to give in, and I started recording video clips for my son. So I would get my phone out and I would put it on the back of the bed, and I would do these videos like where I'd be talking to my son and just tell him like that I'm trying really hard, and this is what's going on today, and I'm actually doing the chemotherapy. And I would always talk to him when I was in my darkest moments, because I wanted him to know that I was really struggling, because there was days that I thought I wasn't going to make it, you know, but I wouldn't say it. But I was like, man, there's no chance I'm waking up tomorrow. Like
the pain.
The pain was horrendous. And I remember ringing my wife once, and she was with some of our friends, Sarah and Iman and stuff. And I said to her, I said, listen, I need to talk to you on life for 5 minutes. She was like, why? And I was like, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. She's like, What are you talking about? I'm like, I'm not feeling well at all, and I just feel like there's nothing left, and I just want to talk to Leif. And she's like, oh, listen, we can't talk to you right now because we're busy. And I was like, no, but I just need 5 minutes. She's like, I'm really busy and I got to go. We'll call you later. She's like, I'll call you at Fajr time. And I was like, no, just give me 5 minutes with Leif. And she hung up the phone, and then I tried to ring her back a couple of times. She wouldn't answer. I was really mad, but I went to sleep eventually. And then when I woke up in the morning, I remember pinching myself and be like, oh my God, I'm alive.
Am I still alive?
I'm alive. I was alive.
But this takes a lot of guts to do. Like, don't mind me saying, but she gambled on your life.
100%.
If that went, la samah Allah, different road, she might
have regretted it.
Wow.
Yeah, but she was she was not going to give me a reason to quit.
I think she spoke life into you
I think
doing that.
you know, she made me really mad that night. That was like that. I'll tell you, I remember being so upset. I remember going to bed really, really upset because I really wanted to. I sent a message. It's like, please answer the phone.
I think you wanted to stay to the next day just to tell her how mad you were.
No, it was. I'll tell you, I remember it vividly. Wallah, it was like, yeah. I remember waking up that morning and thinking, man, I am alive. I can't believe I'm alive. You know, like it was just like just to put it into context so people can understand, I had just got through doing 23 hours straight chemotherapy. Oof. Not 1 hour or 2 hours. I started at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock and I finished the following day at 3 o'clock. I felt like a train had run me over, like multiple times, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't make it to the restroom on time. I was so sick because after they give you the chemotherapy, they got to flush you because the chemical they give you is really dangerous. And so I was being flushed for the next like 6 hours and getting up to go to the restroom every 5 to 10 minutes was one of the most difficult struggles that I've had in my life. I'm telling you, it was like, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are going through it. And I pray that God allows them to come through it because it is not a pleasant feeling.
Do you think 50% of that battle was medical, but the other 50 was mindset? Was it that because of the people surrounding you, speaking life into you, refusing for you to give up, that strength that they built in you, and even that effort within yourself to not giving up, wanting to stay here for your wife, for life, was that the reason, or was this as important as the treatment itself?
I'll tell you now, I often tell people in this order. It was faith, family, friendship, and the love of the world that got me through. You know what I mean? And when I say faith, firstly, my faith in God, knowing that whatever's going to happen to me is only by God's decree. I'm not in control. And I used to tell the doctors all the time, I used to say, I just want you to know that you've been chosen by God to look after me today. So please handle with care. You know, like, because that's how I felt. And I credit the doctors so much, but I truly believe that if the mind is weak, the medicine won't help. The mind has to be strong, and the mind needs to be at a point of surrender, of like just faith in God, trusting the process. And I was blessed that, you know, like when I talk about the friendship, I talk about the friendship of the nurses, the doctors, the world. The nurses and the doctors, they're not your nurses and doctors. They become your friends. They become invested in you. It's a fight that they want you to win too. And during the dark times, they come to see you in the room, and you know you're being very sick. And like I remember telling one of the doctors, crying to her and saying, "I can't believe I gave you permission to kill me." And wow. She became really emotional and said, "We're not trying to kill you. We want nothing more but to see you alive." You know, and I was like, and she started telling me stories about her husband passing away because he gave up. And she's like, don't give up. The mind needs to be strong. And you're a strong person and you've been through many battles. Don't give in. Don't give up. And remember what you felt like when your son came to visit you the other day. And they're the moments that you live for. So keep living for them moments. And you know what? Eventually, things just started to turn around. And once I got to that point of, you know, whether I was going to be cancer-free or that I was going to have to do it anymore, like chemotherapy, I had made a decision that if I wasn't cancer-free, that I had reached the finish line, that I was just going to let this thing take me naturally. I wasn't going to go back into hospital and live there and get the chemotherapy. I just felt like, you know what, if I'm going to die, let me die at home with my family and my son, and let me just at least spend some time with him, play with him. And because when I'm in hospital, I'm sick, I can't play. I can't do anything. But if I've got cancer, I might be tired, but it'll kill me slowly, but not like the chemotherapy. It's going to kill me fast. So I made a decision on the day that I got up in the morning, whether I was going to be cancer-free or not. I made a decision that I would, if I was cancer-free, then I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. I'm grateful to God. But if I'm not, then that's the end of the road. And I had told my wife and some family members that was the end of the road. And obviously they was like, no, we'll talk about it when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, and don't talk like that. And I'm like, no, I'm just letting you know because I don't want it to take you by surprise. I'm just telling you what it is. And then when
you got the news
yeah,
that you are cancer free, what was the feeling? How did you announce it?
It was like, who do I call first? Who do I tell first? It was one of those things, like I couldn't believe, even though, listen, I was cancer free, but I was still very weak and looked tired and frail. But it was like an energy that just came within me. And I was like, the first person I told was obviously my wife. She was upstairs and I was downstairs and the phone rang and I ran upstairs and I was like, I'm cancer free. And it was like my son at the time, Laith, was, he was like 3.5 years old and he knew what was going on because he used to ask me questions like, Dad, are you going to die? And like, hey, Daddy, do you need me to get your vomit bag? Daddy, are you sick? And so when I said I'm cancer free, it was like that moment of just sigh of relief, and then
of course,
my wife was like, we just got to do the most amazing announcement because everybody's been waiting and all these people are ringing and waiting. Everyone was on edge. I had the world on edge. The boxing world was on edge. You know what I mean? All our family, friends and everything, everyone was on edge waiting. And so the first person I rang was obviously my dad and my mum who was there with him, told them, and then I rang my brothers. And then the first person outside of family that I rang was an amazing fighter, a Muslim fighter by the name of Badu Jack. He lives in Dubai himself. And he was basically one of those people who followed the journey and was messaging me every couple of days. Him and Amir Abdullah were messaging me every couple of days and just making sure that I was all right. And then, always keeping me in their dua and all that stuff. And then when I rang him and told him that I was cancer free, it was like, man, I said, because you've been on a journey, I just felt like I owed you that, man. And I wanted to let you know. He's like, man, thank you so much, man. I've got so much relief. And he goes, and I can't wait to see you. And then funny or not, I'd met him a few times in the past, but earlier, a couple of months back, I went to the Saudi Arabia and I watched him fight and I was there with his team and, we just get to have that moment together where it was we hugged each other and it was like,
wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it was great. And he invited me to come watch him fight and I was I felt like I owed it to him because he was one of the people who messaged me every couple of days when I was sick, always checking in.
One of your supporters.
Definitely.
And how did you announce it?
My son, Laith, was the the icon who would present it. So we got a piece of cardboard paper, white cardboard paper, and we wrote on it, hey guys, my dad's cancer free, something along the lines of that. And we got him to hold it, and he just started jumping up and down with it and stuff. And we put it out
That's
there, and it went viral. It just went all over the world, and then my phone didn't stop ringing for days, and I ended 3,000 messages on my phone.
I can imagine.
I couldn't get back to everyone. I just had to be I'm so sorry, I can't respond back to everyone, but
one message.
Yeah, thank you so much for the love and support. Yeah. And it's crazy because even today, just today, I was with my wife in the morning. We were doing some shopping and getting some gifts for some friends, and I was walking through and then I see people and they're like, I prayed for you, man. I saw 3 people sitting. It was a mother with 2 of her kids, I think. And the mom got up and she's like, oh, I prayed for you so much. And I'm so happy that I get to see you. And
that's lovely.
When you have people praying for you, that's powerful. And I tell you, things that would break me down when I was in hospital, was when I would get messages from people saying, hey, look, I'm in Mecca right now and I'm asking God to give you the strength to overcome this. And
the amount of love.
Man, it was the whole world rallied behind me. And then, I took my wife on holidays to America. We went to Thailand. We did a few different holidays and Bali. And I would see people from different countries in Bali and Thailand.
That were supporting you as well.
Yeah.
And following up your journey.
100%. Somebody was like, "Oh, are you the brother that had cancer?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, I'm from like Kazakhstan." And I'm like, "Wow." I went like, "Oh man, I can't believe how many people, like my story touched so many people." And I feel like people used to ask me, "Why are you so vocal with your journey? Why are you not being a bit more private?" And I was like, "Look, it's not about being private. It's about
inspiring.
It's my son. It was my son. It wasn't, firstly, I never thought about inspiring anybody. I just thought about, if I'm going to die, I want my son to know who I am, what I was trying to do." And just through God's grace and his mercy, that ended up becoming an inspiration for other people. So like, my videos would go viral and, people would message me saying how I'm going through the same thing. And then all of a sudden now I'm dealing with it, but somebody else is going through it. Now I'm trying to give him the motivation, and it becomes like look, once you have cancer, it's like you are a part of a different family. You're a part of a family of cancer survivors and people who lost their battles to cancer.
That community.
Yeah, you're part of that community. And the thing is, like, when I was sick, and then I beat it, and then you hear people about they're sick and then they lose their journey and they didn't make it. And a part of you feels like a bit of a guilt, but then I feel like I'm here for a reason. Allah chose to have me here for a reason. If my time...
God chooses his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Yeah. If my time was up and my purpose was served, I wouldn't be here today. But I'm here for a reason. Allah chose me for a reason.
But it's such a natural instinct for somebody that goes through something hard, or like, especially something life-changing, to just say, "Why me?" Or ask, "What have I done to deserve this?" Or even start comparing other people, saying they're doing way worse things and they're just living fine. Why is this happening to me? But in your autobiography book, A True Heart, you said something so powerful. You said, "I never said, why me? I said, why not me?" Can you take me into that mindset?
Why not me?
Why not me?
Because what makes me any better than the person who is next door to me in the hospital room who's 60 years old or 70 years old? Or what makes me any better to the 18-year-old who was suffering from cancer that was just down the corridor from me? Or why am I any better than any of these people? Why? Because I won a world title? Because Allah gave me a platform? Because he gave me I'm no better than anybody. We're all the same. We're all children of God and we all go through things. Each and every single one of us in our life will deal with things. We all go through certain things that we're going to deal with. We all hit with calamities. We all hit with, every day in life is a day that's lost. You know that, right?
Of course.
Every day in life is a day that's lost. What did you do in that day to impact people? What did you do in that day to please God? What did you do in that day to please your parents? And, I just feel like so many of us are like, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" Why shouldn't it be happening to you? Why are you any better to any of these people out there who are suffering? Why are we so entitled? I'm not an entitled person. I don't believe that I'm entitled. I believe that whatever I have is only by God's mercy, by God's grace. Me winning world titles, I begged for those. God gave them to me because I begged. I prayed for them. I cried for them. They didn't come easy. I grinded. I did everything in my power to become a world champion. Why did God not allow me to win the 3 other world titles that I fought for? I can't say that. I can't say, why did God? No, God gave me 2 world titles.
But with a battle like that, it's hard to think that you deserve this to happen to you.
No one deserves it, but everything happens for a reason. Maybe Allah put me through that to allow me to be, an advocate for other people who are going through it. maybe Allah allowed me to live through it so that I can live for the people who passed away. You know what I mean? So I can be a voice for them. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at it like, why me? I always say, why not me? I don't complain about anything. Like there's so many people out there who made millions and millions and millions of dollars from boxing, who didn't do half of what I done. Why didn't I make the millions and millions and millions that they made? It just wasn't written for me. But Allah has a plan for everybody, and I'm just staying on course.
So you believe that God gives, but God can take as well. And you just need to accept and have faith in His plan and in whatever He has written for you.
Think about it like this, right? So there was this young kid who was in the hospital with me, right? And he had leukemia, and his mum asked me if I could come in and say hello to him, and I was avoiding everybody in the hospital. I didn't want to be around anymore because I didn't want to get sick, because there's a lot of sickness going around in the hospital and stuff. And so I remember going in and seeing him, and he was just this young kid, maybe like 17 or something like that, 16, 17. And I remember when I met him, I said hello to him and stuff, and then I said to him, I actually want to tell you something. He says, what is it? I said, I ask Allah to allow you to live through this cancer and overcome it before I do. And his mum's like, no, don't say that. I was like, no. I said, you know what? He's just a kid. I'm 37 years of age. I've lived an amazing life. Allah gave me everything I ever wanted. Everything that I asked for from Allah, Allah gave me. He allowed me to win world titles. He allowed me to have, I wanted to be a dad so bad. And then Allah gave me my son. So I was like, I've been given everything that I ever wanted. And so if it's going to be me or your son, I hope Allah takes me. I hope your son lives. And she was like,
wow.
She was like just shocked. But I genuinely meant it, because I was like, man, this guy's just a kid. He hasn't even experienced anything. He probably never left the country. And I've been all over the world. I've done everything that you could possibly dream of. Like, I've lived an amazing life, and so what right do I have to say, why me? What about all the people out there that have done nothing of the sort? They don't have the means to live the life that I've lived. I can't say why me.
Just trust the path.
I just trust the path. I always tell people, nothing happens without the decree of God. Everything that happens to you is only by God's permission.
I agree.
Good, bad, or ugly. It's all good. It's all by God's decree. So if you can be strong enough to say, Alhamdulillah, thank you God, in the good times and in the bad times, you're winning. I'm telling you, you're winning.
It's amazing to see the faith you have in God. It's so strong. And I think we need more of that nowadays. So.
That's the number one pillar for me. That's the number one thing. The number one thing for me is God. God is number one.
You also wrote the book, Boys Do Cry.
Boys Can Cry. Yeah, I changed its title. It's called Boys.
Oh, you changed it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because just somebody else wrote a book as well. It's got sort of the same sort of heading, so I just changed it. Yeah.
Okay, so you wrote the book Boys Can Cry.
Yes.
Which I believe challenges how most boys are taught nowadays. They're taught that crying is weakness, showing emotion is not acceptable. And now as a father, especially to a son, Laith, God bless him, was that one of the reasons why you wrote this book? Did you want to create that space for him where he can grow up and feel like showing emotion is strength?
Yeah.
And I should not hide it.
Yeah, look, I just feel like the world that we live in today is so masculine. It's about being a big tough guy and all these things, but don't express your feelings. Don't tell people how you're feeling. This book's more of a book about, suicide prevention. Suicide is not a choice. That's not the choice that you want to go down. And so for me, I just feel like when somebody tells a young boy, don't cry like a girl, why are you robbing that child of the ability to express himself? Because sometimes you express yourself through emotion of crying, and when you cry, it allows you to heal. And so I've been through so many things in my life, and a part of this book is it's all based on true stories. Everything in the book is based on true stories, things that happened to me when I was a young boy. And when my grandmother, she had a fall and basically looked like she had passed away, they had to resuscitate her. I was in hysterics, and somebody said to me, "Stop crying like a effing girl." And I was shocked. And they were like, "You're going to be champion of the world one day, and you're carrying on like a little girl." And I'm like, whoa. And so from that point, they sort of robbed me of the ability to express myself. So anytime I would hurt myself, I wouldn't cry. If I lost the fight, I wouldn't cry. I got to suck it up. I'm a man. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to be champion. And then when my grandmother passed away, my cousin Ahmed, who is like my childhood best friend, tied at the hip, everybody in the room is crying, including him and including the person that said to me, "Stop crying like a little girl." And I remember,
what did you do?
I walked out of the like where we were basically viewing my grandmother. I walked out of the viewing room and I walked towards the mosque, and I stood out the door, and my cousin, he followed me outside. We just used to feel each other. He used to know if something was wrong, and he walked up to me and he goes, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And he's like, "It's okay to cry." And the minute he said that, I burst into tears, and he hugged me, and we just cried on each other's shoulders.
You just needed somebody to give you that permission.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And you know what?
And now you're giving that permission to everybody else through your book.
That's correct. And I'm so blessed and lucky because this book, I believe, is going to become a phenomenon because it's been backed by some really influential people. The WBC, the World Boxing Council, has backed it. Turkey al-Sheikh, His Excellency, has backed it. Riyadh season. And it's just about to come out very, very soon. And I feel that this book is going to go gangbusters. And for me, it's about the message. It's about empowering young kids to know that it's okay to express your feelings. And it's a rhyming book, and it's about, there's a thing that says, so make sure you're always checking in on your sisters and your brothers, because that's what it's all about, checking in on people. Because how sad is it that sometimes somebody's going through something, but people don't ask that person, "Are you okay?" It's just a simple question like, "Are you all right? Are you okay? Is everything okay?" Because I know you've been a bit distant. I'm one of them people that rings people all the time. I like to check in on people. Just like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? Are you good?" Because
you wanted somebody to do that for
sure. I love that. I love that. Like sometimes I'm going through, moments in my life, and people ask me like, "You all right?" And like I can be open and say, "No, I'm not really feeling that good at the moment. I'm just feeling a bit down." And I'm lucky. I've got really good people around me. Like I've got some really amazing people around me. Alhamdulillah. I'm so grateful because
these are the true supporters.
For me, it's like I just feel like God puts certain people in your life when He needs it. He knows that you need it. And you know what the thing is about life is that like sometimes we lose a lot of friends, who we think that we're going to be there forever. But that's just God letting you know that you don't need that person anymore, because sometimes people come into your life for a reason. Sometimes people come in for a season, and then sometimes people come in for a lifetime. And there's them lifetime people that that you're never going to part ways with, and I know that God has put some certain people in my life who I will never part ways with. And for that, I am forever grateful.
The purpose for that person to be in your life is for that period of time, and that's it.
Yeah.
So to think of it that way makes a lot of sense. The comeback fight.
Yeah.
That didn't feel like a sporting moment. It felt personal.
It was.
It was like you were saying, I'm the author of my life and I end it the way I wanted to end.
Yeah.
Was it a way telling life, everything you tried to take away from me, I'm now back in control and I'm ending it my way?
We're never in control, right? We're never really in control because everything that happens to us is only by God's decree. But we can try to do everything we can in our power. And so for me, cancer said, you'll never box again. The doctor said, you'll never box again. People said, you'd be silly to fight again. Why would you? You've done everything. You've achieved everything. The only thing was that boxing gives you two choices. There's only two choices in boxing. You either go out on your own terms or you go out on the terms of boxing. And sometimes when you go out on the terms of boxing, you end up on your back, flat on your back, on a stretcher. You know, when you get knocked out, you get beat, you get embarrassed because there's somebody who's young and up and coming that's coming.
Taking your place.
It's coming for what you had. They want that. They want that glory that you once had. And so I wanted to go out on my own terms. I still believed that I had something left. And at the time that I was diagnosed with cancer, I was rated within the top 10 in the world and on the cusp of another big opportunity. And cancer robbed me of that opportunity. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to let you win. I'm not doing it your way. And it was a long process and it was all a joke at the start. It was all just a joke. It was never serious. It was something that we just joked about. But my father said something to me a long time ago when I was sick. I remember him coming up to the hospital because he only came once. He came twice. But right at the end when I was very, very sick, he was only able to come once because my dad's really ill and very hard for him to walk up them stairs and all that. And he said to me, I got one wish. And I said, what's that? And he goes, just to see you have one more fight. I just want to see you compete one more time. But that wasn't him really asking me to compete. That was him trying to give me a reason to survive. He was trying to motivate me to live. And so...
But for you, it built that fire in you.
It was always
not
there.
To just conquer the battle of cancer, but also to fight again, just that one last time
100%.
To prove to the world that
I could do it.
You can do it.
My way.
Your way.
Yeah. And so what I did was I ended up setting up a fight in Germany at the WBC convention. Mauricio Suleiman, who is the boss of the WBC, he and I have become very close. He's an amazing uncle, father figure, an amazing human being, somebody who's looked after a lot of people. And when I told him I wanted to do it, he backed me and he gave me that opportunity. Him and Robert Diaz, who's another D person to me in the boxing industry. And then the promoter, Armin Honor, agreed to do it on his show. With the three of them and my will to be back in the ring, we got there, and then it was just a very special night. And I remember when I when I walked out to the ring, I used the song "I Did It My Way." And
why not?
Frank Sinatra, "I Did It My Way."
Yeah.
And then just before, so the tune kicks in, it says, "I did it my way." And then I put my hand up and then I drop my hand and it says, "Don't call it a comeback."
Wow.
I've been here for years. So don't call it a comeback. I'm not coming back. I've been here forever. But I'm going to leave on my terms.
I'm just continuing.
I'm going to continue and I'm going to leave on my own terms. And so once I wrapped it up on my own terms, I just felt like I had reached the finish line. I had achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I had overcome cancer and I had proved to everybody that was going through it and overcoming it that you can do whatever you want. No matter what anybody tells you in your life, if you believe in yourself and you believe in God and you surrender yourself to God, anything is possible. No one can stop you from anything.
If belief was a weapon, you have walked into every fight fully armed. That's how amazing you are.
No doubt it is. It is. Belief is a weapon. I really believe it is.
So you received an invitation by His Excellency Turk al-Sheikh, flew to London, and walked away with the Comeback Fighter of the Year by The Ring magazine.
That's correct.
Was this the end of Billy's success?
I wouldn't say it's the end. I would say it's the beginning of a new chapter. It was the beginning of a new chapter. It was like, I grew up as a kid buying The Ring magazine. I used to buy that magazine. I bought it all the time. I would read it. I would cut photos out. I would plaster them on my wall. I would rip the posters out and hang them up. And then to get the invitation with the possibility of being the Ring magazine Comeback Fighter of the Year, I was totally like taken back. I was like, this is written in the stars. This is only happening to like me. This is special. This is something amazing. And I remember ringing my brother and telling him, listen, man, I've been given this invitation and I want you to come. And I just feel that trip, what the bond that it built between me and my brother is an unbreakable bond now. It's like my brother Muhammad and I now are so close. Nothing can come between us. And it took that trip to do that. Even though we've always been close, but that trip to share that moment with him was like the most incredible feeling. And I wasn't a sure thing. I was up against some other names. But then as the week would roll on and we're in London, I started hearing whispers, but nah, no one can win it. Billy Dib's going to win this, man. These guys beat opponents. Billy Dib beat cancer. Come on, man. He beat cancer, you know what I mean? Like, and for me, I'm going to be honest with you, like, I don't look at it like, oh, I beat cancer. I just feel like it's just like, it was a given for me. I wasn't going to give up. I never was going to give up. So it's like when people say, oh man, you became a world champion. I was like, yeah, I know, because I wanted it bad. And I wanted to beat cancer so bad. And so once all these whispers were echoing around and everything, and I finally got to the venue, I started believing that, you know what, I'm going to be receiving this award. And maybe even before I ever got to the venue, because I remember like writing a speech maybe like 10 days out, and I would practice it every day. I was like, if I win, I'm going to give the best speech.
But deep down you felt like that there was that
a chance that I'm going to get it.
That chance.
And I thought, you know what, this is my chance to give a speech in a way that's going to impact people. So I'm going to give a really good speech. And that's exactly what I did. When I was given the award, the most amazing thing happened that I've ever seen in my life. That's happened to me. Because I was sitting like more towards the back of the room. And I had to walk from
all the way through.
All the way through. And the craziest thing is that
everybody was cheering.
Legendary fighters, past greats, current greats, all stood up and clapped me all the way to the stage. All the way to the stage. Do you know? And they all stood up. And other people got awards before me and no one stood up. We just clapped for them like we were sitting down, you know? But everyone stood up all the way to the stage. And then,
you deserve it.
Like, I'm not sure if Oscar De La Hoya will ever see this, but Oscar's somebody that's been a part of my career at different stages. And the fact that he got up and gave me a hug and said the words that he said, Robert Garcia, Alexander Usyk, Amir Khan, Adam Hamed, all of these great champions that got up and said something to me as I was walking to the stage is something that I will never forget. Robert Garcia said to me that there's no one more deserving of this award than you. Robert Garcia is somebody that's been a major part of my boxing life. He's responsible for 3 of my losses as a trainer in the opposite corner. But the relationship that I have with him is like incredible. And to me, he's an amazing individual. And to wrap it all up, when the night finished, as I was leaving the venue, Canelo Alvarez, who is pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world today and of this past era said to me that this was a night reserved for you. And I was like, man.
I just got the chills.
I was like, you're like the greatest fighter of our time right now. And you're saying that to me.
That was like a hardcore validation.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
You are the greatest.
Yeah, it was like, and then I was invited to watch him fight in Saudi Arabia in his last fight. And then when he fought and he won, he invited me into the ring to take photos. And like, I never felt so vindicated in my life. Like boxing gave me like this vindication. It was like, you know, I was like, you never like, you don't feel like you're seen. But then to be seen like that,
it's
and
crazy.
to be given, I tell people that boxing gave me my flowers while I'm alive. I didn't have to die to get my flowers. People, when they die, they say, oh, he was great and he did this and he was amazing. And people start posting up things about you and how great you were. And they don't give you your flowers while you're still around. But I got mine while I was still alive.
What a proud moment.
I know, it was incredible. Honestly, it was one of the happiest times of my life. Definitely. No doubt about it. It was, you know, it was written in the stars, everything, the way I ended it. You know, it's like God gave me cancer because he wanted to vindicate me the way that he did. You know, it's like he knew how badly I wanted to be seen by the boxing world. I wanted to be known.
And you couldn't have done it if you didn't go through what you went through.
Cancer gave me everything. You know, like through illness, God vindicated me and made me seen. It made me heard. It made me felt. And I don't complain about that. I'm grateful for every moment of it.
Lebanon is a country that has been through war, collapse, heartbreak. Yet it still stands, still proud and still fighting. And when I look at your story, I feel that same spirit. Do you see that in yourself too? That resilience, that Lebanese resilience?
I was just going to tell you right now.
That resilience where you will not accept
defeat,
to be down no matter how many times life knock you out, just like Lebanon.
No doubt about it. And let me just say this, because it's only fair to say this, because my father is Lebanese. He's a warrior. And my mother's Palestinian. She's just the same. She's a big warrior too. And so
runs in the blood.
My strength, my will to win, my warrior spirit is from my people. It's from my people. It's from my ancestry. I'm not by accident. I was built to be this way because we come from war-torn Lebanon. My mum's family was exiled from Palestine before she was born. My family come from a war-torn country. And so, you know, like, it's only normal that I am who I am today. And every time I fought with that determination and willpower that my people have.
If Lebanon was sitting here with us today, what would you tell her?
Never give in. Never give up. Crumble a million times, get up a million times more. It doesn't matter. No matter what they do to us, we never give in. We have a never say die attitude. And that's what I love about the Lebanese people, because no matter how dark times get, they always smile. There's always happiness. There's always something to smile about.
Billy, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And I just want to tell you something. I've named this season Where the Cedars Grow, because every guest is a cedar from Lebanon that represents resilience. But I'm going to tell you, you are the greatest and the toughest cedar that I ever had the honor to have on this podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for trusting me with your story and for being here. And
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
How did this conversation feel?
Incredible. I just feel like you're a real person.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I try
you.
to be. I always try to be. That's my goal.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.